Nagmeh, Iran, when we talk about, that was the country of your birth, isn't it?
Yes, that's correct.
So when I say the word Iran and those 19 years, what images come to mind about those 19 years?
The most beautiful images ever, probably because it was the past, it was place of my birth. I'm a Baha'i, is where my faith has come from. So my love to Iran and the memories I have from Iran is the combination of my birthplace and where the birthplace of my faith was. I had beautiful childhood. We have a beautiful country. The weather is amazing. You get 4 seasons a day. People are very nice. Iranians are very nice, very warm, very kind and hospitable people. And the food is amazing. If you haven't tried it, you must try Persian food. And the scenery and the culture is so rich that it's genuinely one of the cradles of civilization.
So are you from Tehran?
From Tehran, the capital,
And that's
yes.
the capital, a big
Yes.
city of millions of people.
Massive city. But on the other hand, my last 3 months, because I was in this country for summer 78, went back to Iran to choose my subjects to go back to uni, and there was martial law and the demonstrations prior to the revolution in Iran, and I also have got very extremely vivid memories of the 3 months I was in Iran when there was demonstrations just prior to the revolution in 1979.
Did you suspect there was a storm coming? You know?
Yes, because it all started in September 78. The universities closed to stop the demonstrations in Iran, and you knew there was something coming. Although there was still some stability there. And of course, because we had the oil, my parents and everybody always thought that nothing will ever happen to Iran because of the oil resources. So my parents asked me to go back there to choose my subjects, but they stopped the people of my faith to go to university. And that is how my parents decided that the best mode of action was to send me out of Iran. I had 2 sisters already in this country. They were both already married to Englishmen. So my parents literally frog marched me to the airport and got me out of Iran.
But you have happy memories. You have happy memories of school and friends.
Oh, the memories I have are unbelievable. Of family, because we had massive family on both sides, and you have huge parties every week. Of school, of university, of my friends in Iran, of the holidays we used to have, of our house in Iran, of the seaside in Iran, because we do have a seaside. It's the only closed sea in the world, the Caspian Sea. So the memories are unbelievable. Yeah.
Have you been back?
No, I have never been back, because if we go back to Iran, we will be killed. So I have never been back to Iran.
Do you ever think about that? Do you think about that do you ever feel like you're in exile, that in that way?
In a way, yes, because there is a beautiful country. I watch it on the YouTube, and there are walking tours of Tehran. I watch them, but I don't recognize it anymore. This is, it's changed. It's 43 years ago.
We're going to try and avoid A, being political, and B, not getting you upset.
Yeah.
But wasn't one of the arguments that the Shah of Iran, it was hideous inequality and hideous wealth? Wasn't that one of the arguments? Like why there would be a revolution? Revolutions just don't happen in a whim.
Yes, obviously, revolutions don't just happen. They are bubbling under the ground until they suddenly erupt, a bit like a volcano. There was massive gap between rich and poor, but then again, to tell you the truth, I can now notice that in United Kingdom there is now a gap between rich and poor, and sometimes that does concern me a lot, because I think, oh my God, where am I going to go next? Because this is my country, this is where I love. So yes, but obviously problems in Iran now have changed to different problems. That now people are, again, they have got demonstrations and they are not happy. But I, as a child, because I only lived in Iran for 19 years, and those 19 years, probably the last 2-3 years, it was showing that there was going to be a revolution. But you can never imagine that it would be.
So what is your first language?
My first, my mother tongue is Farsi, which is the language in Iran, but I have now spoken and written English for longer than I have spoken Farsi.
But do you get an opportunity at all to speak Farsi?
Yes, my mom is still alive. She is 98 next month. So I speak to my mom, I speak to my sisters, and I speak to a couple of Iranian friends I've got.
So I guess on the earlier interview, off camera, we spoke about how do you identify yourself? Are you British? Are you Anglo-Iranian? How do you identify yourself?
I would probably say it's a little bit of a two. If somebody asks me, Nagmeh, where are you from? I'm Iranian, because I feel they are asking me, where were you born and where is your accent from? Which I am very proud of both. But where do I belong? I think I'm probably British, because I have lived 43 years of my life in UK. I have had my university education in UK. I have married an Englishman. I've got 2 children who are Anglo-Persian, and I have got friends of all nationalities in the world. So I would say probably British, Anglo-Persian.
And what about your children? They're British, they're English.
Our children are extremely proud of being Anglo-Persian. So as soon as you ask them, they'll go, we are Anglo-Persian. And they have got English first names, but they have kept my maiden name followed by my husband's surname. So they've got a double-barreled surname. So everybody always asks them where the first part of their surname is from, and they'll go, I'm Anglo-Persian.
So why Anglo-Persian and not Anglo-Iranian? Please explain.
Probably because I belong to the old days of Iran, and Iran used to be Persia. And I always think when Iran was Persia, it was so much more of an enigma to it. It was so posh, it was so historical, and it had so much culture. Whereas I think once you say Iranian, people only think about the last 44 years, 43 years of Iran. And I want to have that richness of being Anglo-Persian.
Nagmeh, thank you for giving us this little window into life in Iran and Persia and in the United Kingdom.
Thank you very much. Thank you.